Hello everyone, welcome to EWM session 5. My name is Harikrishna Aramsetti. Today's topic we are going to see is inbound delivery using POSC, inbound delivery process using POSC by using the packaging specifications in EWM. In our previous sessions, we have already seen the other topics. Let me go to that. So the highlighted four scenarios we have already seen, which is master data, simple put away with handling unit, put away with the deconsolidation using the POSC. These four processes we have seen in our previous sessions. In this particular session, we will see again the POSC process, and the main focus here would be the packaging specifications. We will just look at the configuration settings and the master data settings required for determining the packaging specifications when we are working with the EWM inbound delivery, and then we will continue to do the or use the POSC process after the packaging specifications are determined. So with that, I mean the process point of view, before we will also look at the configuration settings and master data settings briefly. Transactional data point of view, the process would be to create the purchase order and then creating the inbound delivery. So once inbound delivery in ECC is created and distributed to EWM system, the packaging specifications will be determined, and when we look at the delivery in EWM system, we will see the products are and its quantities are packed into handling units automatically. So that will happen using packaging specifications, and then we will proceed to create the warehouse task and then confirmation of the warehouse task. And the moment we confirm the unloading warehouse task, goods receipt will be posted and that communication will be sent to ECC system. And then the second task will be open, which is our deconsolidation step. So that deconsolidation activity has to be performed in a dedicated work center. So whatever the required repacking or separation of the products into each handling unit, that activity, once that is completed, the final put away task will be open, and on confirming the final put away task, a PCN will be triggered which changes the stock type from F1 to F2. And on the ECC side, the inbound delivery statuses will be updated, document flow will be updated, and whatever the handling units that we have generated in EWM, that information also gets updated into the document flow of ECC inbound delivery, and all the stock reports and tables on both ECC and EWM also gets updated. So again, as we have seen the configurations point of view, so we need to make sure that all the configurations are already in place, and apart from that, the master data settings like the packaging specifications and other master data elements like the materials should be existing. It may be a finished product or it may be a packaging material, and the required settings are related to POSC in the EWM warehouse product, and the bin availability and the business partner settings. So we need to make sure all these settings are in place before we start any transactional data. So for the smoother execution of the process. Now let's go into the system quickly and see what settings are needed to see the packaging specifications triggered automatically. So I'll quickly go through the configuration settings here. So under the master data, we have the packaging specification tab. Under, if we drill down that, there will be many configuration settings that we may need to do. So let's go into one by one. Define number ranges for packaging specification. So we need to maintain the number range for packaging specification. So when we are creating the master data for the packaging specification, it gives like each record will contain the unique number. We will identify each packaging specification with a unique number. So that number will be picked from here. So once we define the number ranges, define the packaging specification parameters. So the packaging specification parameters, again we will assign the number range here, and the form is a standard SAP given form, so that we will, this is a standard setting. So this is not any business requirement specific. So these are the standard packaging specification settings that we maintain. And the third step, we are actually going in the reverse direction. So in this step, if you see, the packaging specification SAP is defined, and for that number range as well as level set is assigned. So this level set is most important. So with this one only, system will understand this is like a formula. The dependent configurations are maintained, and level set is the highest level. So when we go into the packaging specification master data transaction, the first thing we will select is the packaging specification group, based on which system proposes the number, unique number for that packaging specification. And also once we go inside that packaging specification, we will also see the different packing requirements, which material, what packaging material, how much it has to be packed. How much it has to be packed we will decide, but the product and the packaging specification, mainly the packaging data will be determined based on the level set. So what product and how much quantity, that we will enter in the packaging specification. So the packaging specification level set determines how many different kinds of layers we need for packing a particular product. So it gives that information. And let's go into the level set, how we will define the level set. So level set is just a freely definable number. We can define any number, just like a palette data here. And once we have this level set, this is the sequential chain that we need to define. So under the level set, we will have the level types and the element types. So if we go back and see the level type and element type configurations we have already in place. So if we go into the level type, so the level type basically says that what kind of, it is a main packaging material, or under the main packaging material we may have other dependent packaging materials may be needed to pack that product. So on the pallet we may need to also use the different auxiliary materials or any other different kind of packaging materials we may need for packing one particular product on the pallet. So depending on our business requirements, we will map all those level types. So whenever we define the level type, again we can see here the level HU type has to be assigned. And this is about the level, how many levels of packaging requirements we have for packing a particular product. And our element type actually says what kind of exact packaging material that we are going to use, like the pallet, auxiliary material, it may be a cotton, So depending on the type of a product, we will define here whether it is auxiliary material or the packaging material, or it may be a pallet, or it may be a cotton. So those kind of things we will define with the element type. So once we have the level type and element type is defined, we will assign all of them in a level set. So if you select and see here, my level type is main. Here I am telling the system that I have only one level, and inside that I can use both auxiliary material and packaging material. So now once I mean here the sequence also we can maintain. So now my first priority is my actual packaging material. So auxiliary material, it is optional whether I may use or I may not use. So all the products may not be required to use the auxiliary material. So wherever it is needed, we can make use of that. So once we have this element type is defined, this element type is actually the type of packaging material. So that is why this element type has to be linked to the packaging material, our actual packaging material. So that assignment we will do here. So our packaging material has to be linked to the, I mean our element type has to be linked to the packaging material. So these are the main configuration settings. Level set is the main thing. Level set, once we define the level set structure, and then we have to assign the packaging material to the element type, and then this level set has to be assigned inside the packaging specification group and the dependent number ranges. And the other thing that we need to also uh, we can work on packaging specifications is we can define the condition technique also. If we don't want to use the SAP given standard structure, or the business requirement is something else, and the table feels that SAP given is not fulfilling our requirements, then we can define our own structures. So for example, the SAP given standard, here I don't see 0 PIL. So this is the 0 PIL condition type SAP has given. For example, if we don't want to use this SAP given one, let's look at the condition table, because condition table gives us the actual information of what fields we are using. So actually the standard SAP given fields are supply chain unit and product, which will fulfill most of the business requirements. Many businesses does use that structure. So these are the two fields. One is the supply chain unit and other one is product. So these two SAP standard given, and if you see or if you feel that these two fields are not fulfilling my packing requirements and I may need additional fields also. This is basically required to maintain the condition record inside the packaging specifications, based on which our packaging specifications will trigger while we are doing the inbound delivery process. So it is for the automatic determination point of view basically. So now let's assume that we define the condition table, access sequence, and condition types, and all these procedures are assigned to one packaging specification determination. So now this is the standard procedure 0 PIL, and inside that I can see my condition type is assigned. So once I have this procedure defined and my application for the packaging specification, we can observe here is PAK. Once I have this procedure defined, I have to link it to my condition maintenance group. So this is the standard SAP given packing instructions application type PAK. So inside that our standard defined condition type and procedures application, everything we can see. So here I have not changed anything, so we are just seeing the standard SAP given configurations are in place or not. So we are good with this. So the beauty of this packaging specification is there is a procedure called IPPE, and the packaging specifications can be come from the different systems like supplier network collaboration, or within EWM we can define, and we can store them in a different server called IPPE. It is an engine. So if we are working with the distributed systems, like if we have multiple systems and if you don't want to define a separate packaging specifications, and if there is a requirement to use the same packaging specifications in multiple distributed systems, we can use this IPPE procedure, and from there the packaging specifications can be read, or we can leverage the same packaging specifications in across all the distributed systems. So that is the one good feature that we have with respect to packaging specifications in EWM. So that is the configuration point of view. Now let's go into the master data. So my product again, we are using this product, and we will see what packaging specifications are maintained and how it is maintained. So EWM S4-P1 is my product, and as we have seen in the configuration here, we said that our packaging specification group SAP decides what is my level type and what number range to be determined. So even when I come here, the first thing when I am creating the packaging specification, I will select the packaging specification group. Based on that, system proposes the number, and then we have to proceed to create the packing requirements that we need. That means when the inbound delivery is reached to EWM, how product has to be packed. That we will assign here. So mainly we will assign the product here, and then based on the we have seen like the element types we have defined as main packaging material and auxiliary material. So if we go into our main packaging material, we can see the packaging material, which is my main packing. Element type we can see, which is my main packing material, and the packaging material I assign here, and I am telling the system that when my level type is main and my packaging material is this and my element type is this, pack two pieces. The product EWM S4 P1 and the packaging material is this one. So whenever this criteria meets, whenever I am receiving this product from the vendor, you pack always two pieces of this product into this quantity. Let's assume I am receiving 100 pieces of this material from the vendor. My inbound delivery contains 100 pieces. So system creates 50 handling units with this packaging material automatically in the inbound delivery. So this is the formula that we are defining. So these are the several conditions that we are telling the system to pack. But how does the system knows that it has to be packed in inbound delivery, outbound delivery, internal? So for that we need to maintain the condition record. So the condition record is this one. I am telling my system that this is my inbound delivery condition. So when I am doing the inbound delivery process, these two fields are proposed from my condition table. In the condition technique we have seen. So if the business requirement is something else, and if they want to incorporate or they need some other field to fulfill my requirement, then we have to change the condition table. We have to define new condition table, and then the subsequent condition technique settings that we need to do, and dependent assignments also we have to complete. Then that additional field will come here. So now in my step, I am telling my system that my supply chain unit is this and my product is this. For the inbound delivery, you do the packing automatically. So once we are maintained all the settings, so we have to maintain the packaging specification. So with that, my whenever the packaging specification status is active, that means we are good with setting up the packaging specifications. Okay, so now we have seen the configuration and the master data elements required for the packaging specifications, and other process oriented storage control settings we have seen in our last session. So now, as a next step, we will proceed to create the master data and see how our packaging specifications as well as our POSC works. So here what I will do is I will take the purchase order quantity as 10. That means my packaging specification contains two pieces of a material to be packed into one handling unit. So now in this case, since I have taken 10 pieces, system should create 5 handling units automatically. So let's see that will that happens or not. So we are good with everything. The confirmation tab contains the confirmation control. So I am saving the purchase order. So I have the purchase order created ending with 4222. And now let's proceed to create the inbound delivery for this purchase order. Okay, I think something is getting updated in the backend, so we'll wait for few more seconds and then let it, once it is updated, we will proceed to create the inbound delivery. Okay, we are good now. So basically we are not doing any packing inside the ECC delivery. Yesterday we have seen doing the packing in ECC also, one of the scenario we have seen that. But today, since we are looking at focusing more on packaging specifications in EWM, I'm not touching or I'm not changing anything in ECC delivery. Simply I'll go ahead and save this delivery. We can see at the bottom the inbound delivery is created and distributed to EWM system. So my inbound delivery number created here is ending with 694. Now let's go to inbound delivery in EWM and see if my delivery is distributed, and the second step is to check the packaging specifications are determined and as the formula that we have defined is triggered or not. So it is ending with 694. So step 1, the delivery is in EWM, and the second thing we need to verify is the packaging specifications. We can see 5 handling units are created, so our packaging specifications are triggered, and as expected system has proposed 5 different handling units. Okay, this is good. So I'm just copying these 5 handling units because we have to look at in the monitor also. So I will just simply go to this monitor, warehouse task, and then I will enter all my handling units here. So right now there are no documents created, but once the tasks are created, we have to track the statuses based on our handling units. So let's keep it. Now let's proceed to create the warehouse task for this inbound delivery or the warehouse request document. So since we are working with the POSC, it is mandatory that we need to work with the handling units only. So POSC working with POSC product task doesn't work. So my WPT is this and my storage process is this. So I'll go ahead and create the warehouse tasks for this. So we can see at the bottom how many warehouse tasks will create in this case. So for each handling unit, there should be one warehouse task created. So that makes sense because in reality, all these handling units will be processed using RF device. So each handling unit, they will scan and they will receive it. We can see 10 warehouse tasks created. So we will refresh the monitor screen and we can see the clear picture of how the warehouse tasks created. So you can see each warehouse task created from door to unloading area and then the final determination. All are showing in waiting status. So this is following the process oriented storage control. The process that we are working here is unloading, deconsolidation, and then final put away. So now whatever the blank shows here is in waiting status. So collectively I will select all open warehouse tasks and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will confirm this warehouse task in the background. Now we can see that once this warehouse task is confirmed, the next warehouse task related to deconsolidation should be open. And once we confirm that warehouse task, okay, so this is confirmed. Now it gets refreshed automatically and we can see all deconsolidation related. So all these 5 are newly came in and we can see that source and destination. So it is going from unloading area. The first one is from door to unloading area and the second warehouse task it is proposed is from unloading area to my deconsolidation area. We can also observe for all these 5 warehouse tasks the goods receipt is posted. You can see. So now the communication would have been gone to ECC for updating this goods receipt information. Now as part of our next step, we will select this deconsolidation 1 and we will confirm it. So though we confirm this warehouse task, the final put away task will not be open because the work center activity, whatever the 5 handling units that we are talking about here, the repacking activity has to be completed. So I will go to this transactions /n/scwm/dcons, which is my deconsolidation transaction, and I will select my work center and I will give all these 5 handling units here. Let's assume that we are good with everything. I mean, in general, like however we can play with this. We just have to explore this transaction, repacking the product, repacking the handling unit, deleting different ways of packing requirements. This is like self-explanatory thing. So we can play with this transaction of doing the different way of packing. So just to showcase you, I am opening this transaction and executing. So in general, like to make this process simple, I am not making any repacking. So directly I am confirming this. So whenever you do the repacking, that handling unit will select and confirm this and then save, so that the work center activity, deconsolidation activity will be completed. And if you refresh here, all your waiting tasks will be coming to open for the confirmation. So let's refresh. So we can observe here all the 5 rows that I selected are open now. So let's proceed to confirm the final put away warehouse task. And again, once that is confirmed, we can see at the bottom that whatever the stock type F1 will be changed from F1 to F2 through posting change recurrence. So that we can observe here F1 to F2. So this completes our process of the POSC usage, and also the packaging specifications, configuration settings, master data settings, and also we have seen how it is proposing or determining in inbound delivery. So if you want to see, you can also look at the statuses of the inbound delivery. So the inbound delivery statuses and the communication, I mean everything is completed, and in the PPF tab you can see the various communications triggered, and the communication would have been reached to ECC, and our ECC delivery status and the document flow would have been updated as needed. So the statuses are updated, and also look at the document flow. Okay, so all the file handling units, good prefit information, transfer posting information, so everything updated. So this is I think we are good. So with that we have completed our as planned, our fifth process completed. So let's look at the rule based process tomorrow. So that means now in our POSC we are assigning all source and destination storage types and storage bins. So in EWM there, I mean when we are working with the POSC, some movements we can automate. That means without assigning the storage types in the storage control process, we can make the system to trigger the movements automatically. So that is possible with the rule based. We will see how that rule based will work, and then okay, so one by one we will see. So our next topic will be is to work with the rule based POSC. I think we are covered with this. So we are good with this, and yeah, also as I stated earlier, I mean I have not opened the YouTube page, so request you to go through the other videos, 4 videos that I have created, and this is the 5th video. Go through all those videos. I hope it gives fair enough idea of the EWM processes. It will be helpful to you. Okay. Thank you and have a good day.